Hello, I'm Matt and welcome to Badger Workshop. I've never done a review before, but people keep asking me about my bandsaw, so I thought I'd better give you some of my thoughts on it. It's the Record Power BS250. I've had it a couple of years now, so I've had some experience using it. It's got a cast iron table, it's got a fence system which locks by pulling in on the back. I'll get a tighter shot of that later. And it works okay for a machine this size. I've had better fences on table saws, but I think for the bandsaw, a lot of the time, I don't have the fence off anyway and I'm cutting freehand. It takes blades from 1/4 inch up to 1/2 inch, so it's fine. You can do nice curve cuts with a smaller blade or resawing with the wider one. One modification I've changed is this plate here. I've actually drilled some holes in to improve with the dust extraction, and it seemed to help a little. It has little micro switches on both the doors, so it can't run while the doors are open, which is a good safety feature. Right, I'll show you how you change the blade on it. Whilst I've got you this way, I'll just show you how the fence works. So you pull down on the lever and it pulls in on the back. So you see the back, and that locks pretty good like that. Unfortunately, to change the blade, you've got to take the fence rail off. So it's got some star knobs underneath and just comes off. And then you have this nut in here, which just keeps the two sides of the table level. I know some more expensive saws have a slot that goes this way, so you can change the blade without actually taking any of this off. Right, now we can loosen the blade. On the back of the machine we've got 3 knobs. This one rises and lowers the blade guard, and you can lock it with that. This one's for the tracking, and this one's for the blade tension. So to change the blade, we just need to loosen that off, and then we can just take the blade out. Whilst I've got it all open, you can see some of the dust that's come out of here. It's belt driven from the motor, and it's got a little brush to keep the dust off the wheels. It's got a dust port here, which is a 2.5 inch, I think, or 58mm connector, which goes onto my shop vac. And it does an okay job of collecting the dust, but again, I think some of the more expensive, bigger machines have dust ports that go right under the blade. On the back you've got the motor. It's a 1/2 horsepower motor, so not the most powerful thing, and I'll show you some of the cuts and what it can do and what it struggles with. And here is the tilting table. Now this actually broke very early on when I got the saw, the little handle on this. So it just means that I have to get a pair of pliers or a spanner every time I want to tilt the table. But to be honest, in 2 years, I've probably tilted the table 2 or 3 times. It's not something I do very often on the bandsaw. But saying that, it does come with a 5-year warranty. So I could have just contacted them. I'm sure they would have replaced the part, but I was too lazy to do it and never did. So getting the blade back in is really just a reverse procedure of taking it out. It's a little fiddly, but after you do a few, you get used to it. It's certainly not the quickest thing, so it does make you think if you really need to change the blade or if you can make the cut with the one you've got. If you're going for the same thickness blade, you shouldn't have to adjust too much. It has bearings above and below, at either side of the blade and behind it. And these all get adjusted with Allen keys. I'm going to try and show you in real time how quickly it makes certain cuts. So we've got some very thin ply here. So really, cut that as quick as you can pass it through it. Let's try cutting a nice curve. So remove the fence for that. does that no problem, and that is actually with the widest blade you can get in this. So if you put in a 1/4 inch instead of the 1/2 inch in here, you'd actually be able to do a lot tighter curves. Right, we'll try resawing this bit of 2x4. So I put the blade guard up, lock it in place. So it will do it, but it's going to take some time. The other thing you do is cross-cutting. There's a little bit of slop in the fence, in the mitre guide even, but I think that's just common on all these saws. Right, let's see what the maximum depth of cut. So we put that all the way up. It can do about 120 mil, and this way it's about 240 mil. I think really the saw's going to struggle before you run out of capacity. As I said, I've never done a review before, and that was probably blatantly obvious to everyone watching. But after a couple of years use, I'm really pleased with this saw. Yes, it struggles a bit resawing larger items, but I've done it. I've resawed, 4-inch wide bits of oak on it. It just takes a long time. I would like a bigger saw with more capacity, but then we all want bigger, more powerful, better tools. This, yeah, I would recommend it. It's a good saw. So, I don't know what else to say on the matter. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe for more videos.